Well, it's the fight all boxing fans wanted, albeit about 4 or 5 years later than we first anticipated. Of course, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. The man who has got all the boxing news covered is Paul Upham, and he joins me on the line. Paul, I think the experts are saying it's worth $250 million. Is that the right money?
Could be even more. Could be $400 million US, and if that's correct, that would break the previous record of $200 million, and $200 million to split between Mayweather and Pacquiao. That'd be $120 million US for Mayweather and $80 million for Pacquiao, and that simply dwarfs sports people of any other ilk when it comes to dollars to be paid in one night.
So give me 5 seconds worth of why is this such a fight that everybody's wanted? We've heard about it for 5 years, but why are these two so, well, it's taken so long to get them in the ring together?
Well, Mayweather's been pound for pound #1 for the last 7 or 8 years. Pacquiao has been his #1 rival, #2, except for 2012 when he had a couple of losses. But clearly they're the best two fighters in the world pound for pound over the last 7 or 8 years. Mayweather undefeated, 47-0. Pacquiao, 57 wins, 2 draws, 5 losses. 37 years of age for Mayweather. He turns 38 next Tuesday. Pacquiao's 36. You could probably say they probably are a little bit past their best, but they're very evenly matched, and that's why there's still so much interest.
Bookmakers are saying $1.40 for Mayweather and $2.25 for Pacquiao. Obviously, there'll be plenty of interest from that perspective. Is that a fair split? Obviously, they're smarter than most of us. They're saying that Mayweather will win.
The best thing about this fight, Russell, is we don't really know who's going to win. People say they think they're going to know who's going to win, but until it happens, don't know for sure. Look, give Mayweather the respect. He is undefeated, 47-0, never lost. Pacquiao has had 5 career losses, but the thing Pacquiao brings to the ring, he's a southpaw, left-hander. Mayweather's only fought a couple of those. He's got great hand speed, and he throws a lot of combinations, and he's aggressive. He will take the fight to Floyd Mayweather, but Mayweather is probably one of the best defensive fighters of all time, and it's going to be very hard for Pacquiao to land his punches.
I've already gone online to see what room rates were at the MGM Grand. They're sold out, but ticket prices around $2,000 or $3,000 and $1,000 a night for a room. It's not going to be a cheap exercise for anyone who wants to watch it.
There's been such a build-up over these last 6 years. It's been incredible, lot of talk, and it all seemed to turn around January 27 this year when they accidentally met at an NBA basketball game in Miami. They talked at half-time, and then they went back to Manny Pacquiao's suite and talked for another hour, and that seemed to be the impetus to get this fight moving, because for a long time there, it didn't seem like it was going to happen. They were meant to fight originally 13th of May 2010. It was meant to be a 50-50 split. So Floyd Mayweather's goal was to build up the interest in this fight and get a better deal. He's certainly done that.
Do they dislike each other, or is it just a media image of the two not liking each other, or have they never spoken? What's the reason?
They'd only spoken twice, once before on a telephone. They spoke a few years ago, and Mayweather offered $40 million flat rate to Pacquiao, which he turned down. They only came face-to-face for the very first time back on January 27 in Miami, as I said. I think it's been built up by the media. There's been a little bit of sniping. Look, Floyd Mayweather thinks he is the greatest fighter of all time. He's not the greatest boxer of all time. What I can say, he'll be competitive in any era. He's been clearly the best pound for pound for the last 7 or 8 years. He's undefeated, and he wants to retire undefeated, and that's why a lot of people thought he wouldn't take this fight, because it's the biggest risk. And if he loses to Manny Pacquiao now, a lot of that stuff that he's accomplished before people will gloss over, even though that's probably unfair. But this fight and the outcome will reflect a lot on Floyd Mayweather and his career and the way people remember him.
Well, mate, if he loses, he's still got 150 million reasons to dwell over things. But if you had a stab, who would you be picking this far out?
Look, this far out, you have to say Mayweather on points. 8 of the last 9 fights for Manny Pacquiao have gone the distance. The last 5 fights of Mayweather have gone the distance. Unless Pacquiao wins by knockout inside the distance, I think it's going to go the full 12 rounds. It's probably going to be a pretty close fight. It could be the judges and just the way they see it. Mayweather's a great defensive fighter, and he's going to block a lot of Pacquiao's best shots. But with Pacquiao, he seems to be able to find the knockout punch when he needs it the most. And makes it a great, exciting fight. The last 2 big fights, Mayweather and De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya was past his best. Previously to that, Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was past his best. In this fight, you could say that they're not at their best, but they're very evenly matched, and that's what makes it a great fight.
Can't wait for it. Good on you, Paul. Thanks for that. Back to today's trivia question, brought to you by Coors. And earlier we asked you who was the last boxer to defeat Manny Pacquiao in a professional fight. The answer, Juan Manuel Marquez. The Mexican defeated Pacquiao via knockout in the 6th round of their fight back in 2012. It was the first time the Pac-Man had been KO'd in 13 years.